When Emma said those words, her voice didn't tremble. Mine did. Evolve or leave, she repeated. Eyes locked on mine across the kitchen table. Her tone was calm, too calm, the way you talk to someone about rearranging furniture, not dismantling a marriage. The clock on the wall ticked louder than usual. Our dog, Max, shifted awkwardly under the table, as if even he sensed the world tilting off balance. I stared at her, trying to make sense of what she just said. What do you mean, an open relationship? I finally managed. Emma sighed and ran her hand through her hair. The same nervous habit she used to have before big exams back in college. But this wasn't nerves. This was conviction. I've been exploring who I am, she said carefully. And I've realized I'm bisexual. I don't want to deny that part of myself anymore. I still love you, Mark. But I also want the freedom to connect with women. My throat tightened. So what, you want to date other people while we're married? She nodded slowly. Yes. I think it's possible to love more than one person. You should be open to it too. It could make us stronger. Stronger? My hands clenched into fists under the table. How do you even respond to that? To your wife casually rewriting the rules of marriage while you're still trying to remember how to breathe. I met Emma in college. She was fiery, brilliant, and free-spirited in a way that both terrified and fascinated me. I was drawn to her like a moth to a flame. Back then, she used to say, "I'll never be one of those people who live half a life." I thought it was poetic. I didn't realize one day that line would be the nail in the coffin of everything we'd built. We'd been married for 6 years now. We had a little apartment filled with memories, burnt pancakes, inside jokes, our wedding photos lining the hallway. But that morning, sitting across from her, all of it felt suddenly distant, like I was staring at a life that belonged to someone else. I don't understand, I said after a long silence. Are you saying you don't love me anymore? Emma's eyes softened, but her words didn't. No, I do love you. That's the point. But love doesn't have to be confined. We can expand it. I laughed bitterly. Expand it? You mean share it? She frowned. It's not about sharing, it's about freedom. You can see other people too if you want. I don't want to, I said flatly. I married you. Not a concept. For a moment her confidence cracked. I saw a flicker of guilt or maybe regret, but it vanished just as quickly. I knew you'd react like this, she said quietly. But I can't keep pretending. That night I lay awake beside her, staring at the ceiling. She slept peacefully, as if nothing monumental had happened. I wanted to reach out, to touch her, to remind her that what we had was real, but my hand froze halfway. Because I knew something had already shifted. Over the next few days she acted like life was normal. She made coffee, sent me memes, kissed me goodbye before work. But underneath it all there was a new distance. Something foreign growing between us, silent and suffocating. Then one evening I noticed she was dressing differently. Sleeker clothes, bolder makeup. I didn't want to ask, but I did. Going out? Yeah, she said casually. Just meeting a friend. Her friend turned out to be a woman named Kara. I learned that name from a notification that popped up on her phone when she was in the shower. Can't wait to see you tonight, Redheart. My heart dropped so fast it almost hurt physically. When she came out of the bathroom I asked, "Who's Kara?" She froze for a split second, then said, "Someone I met at the art studio. She's amazing. We've been talking a lot." I felt like someone had driven a knife into me and twisted it slowly. "So you're already seeing her?" I asked, my voice barely holding together. "She understands me," Emma said softly. "I didn't plan this, Mark. It just happened." I turned away before she could see my eyes. It just happened. Right. Over the next week, I tried to convince myself to be understanding. I read articles about open marriages, about communication, about evolving. But every time she left the apartment and didn't tell me where she was going, I felt a piece of myself break. One night I couldn't take it anymore. It was 11:30 p.m. when she walked in, her cheeks flushed, the faint scent of someone else's perfume clinging to her. I was sitting on the couch in the dark, waiting. She startled when she saw me. "Mark, you scared me. Where were you?" I asked quietly. She hesitated. "With Kara." I stood up. "And what did you two do?" She blinked, her expression unreadable. "I don't think that's fair to ask." "Fair?" I laughed bitterly. "You sleep with someone else, And I'm the one being unfair? Her eyes filled with tears. I told you from the start what I wanted. I didn't hide anything. You didn't hide it, I said, my voice breaking. You just stopped caring how much it hurt me. We didn't talk for 2 days after that. When she finally tried to reach for my hand one morning, I pulled away. Mark, please, she whispered. I still want you in my life. I looked at her, really looked at her, and realized I didn't recognize the woman standing in front of me anymore. She was still beautiful, still the same person on the surface, but everything underneath had changed. Or maybe she'd always been this way, and I was just too in love to see it. The breaking point came 2 nights later. I came home early from work hoping, God knows why, that maybe we could talk. The apartment was dark except for the glow of the living room lamp. I heard voices. Hers and another woman's. Laughter. Something inside me told me not to go in. But I did anyway. They were curled up on the couch, her hand brushing Kara's cheek, the same way she used to touch mine. The world seemed to slow down, sounds fading into nothing but the pounding of my heart. Emma turned when she saw me, her smile dying instantly. Mark. I didn't say a word. I just stared at them, then turned and walked out. I heard her call my name, but I kept walking. Down the hall, out the door, into the cold night air that bit through my shirt and burned my lungs, but at least it was real. I stayed at a friend's place that night. Stared at the ceiling again. Only this time there was no confusion, just a hollow kind of clarity. In the morning I went back to the apartment. She was waiting for me at the kitchen table. Eyes red, lips trembling. Please don't hate me, she whispered. I don't hate you, I said softly. I just can't be part of this version of you. Tears streamed down her face. You're leaving. I nodded. You said I could evolve or leave. I'm choosing the easy option. She broke then. Sobbed into her hands like she hadn't realized what she was really asking for until it was too late. But I didn't reach out. I just watched, memorizing the moment when love finally died. It's been 6 months since that day. I moved into a small apartment downtown. The silence used to crush me, but now it feels peaceful. Sometimes I catch myself scrolling through old photos, her laugh, our road trips, the night we danced in the rain, and I still feel that ache. Love doesn't vanish. It just changes shape, like smoke slipping through your fingers. She reached out a few weeks ago. Sent a long message saying she misses me, that things with Kara didn't work out, that she might have been confused. I read it, stared at it for a long time, and then set my phone down without replying. Because here's the truth. She wanted freedom, and I wanted a promise. Neither of us was wrong, but we were never right for each other again. Sometimes, evolution isn't about growing together. It's about knowing when to let go. And I did.